What's up, everybody? Welcome to episode 2 of IPF Worlds Prep 2025. This is probably the third time I've recorded this. There's been a bunch of technology problems, as usual, but we're here now. Anyway, to kind of get into it, this week was super, just, unreal. Everything like that I could have imagined happening at the end of this prep is what happened this phase and more. We're going to get to that, though. I will say that for Worlds, I have a goal, and that's just to win. To kind of give you like a little insight, I feel that I've really put a lot down on the line in terms of sacrifices and just choices that I've made, to pursue this. I've really halted some career choices. I've pushed things back and out of the way so that I could fulfill my dream. And it's going to sound corny to a lot of you watching this, but I made a decision based off of how I'd feel in the future. A career will always kind of be there for the picking, right? Especially when you're younger. But a dream of yours, it might be short-lived. You might not have that time down the road, especially when you're doing a physical sport. You might not have that down the road. So I kind of just I made a decision to pursue this and to take what I have now in this sport as opposed to picking a career path. And it's frustrating just because I know that I could have right now been employed by a law enforcement agency and I could have been in the academy, but we have Worlds. And I wanted to be transparent about that because I've been struggling with that mentally. But I know that I'm choosing the right thing because I have that good gut feeling. I know I'm doing the right thing. I know I'm going right by myself, and I know that I would not be happy with myself if, looking back at it, 50, 60 years down the road, hopefully if I'm still around, I think I'd really regret it, and I don't want to live with that regret. Without further ado, no more sob talk. Let's get into it. So Monday session, I was good for a set of 5 PR, and I was looking for a really fat PR at this block, but luckily coach came in with the intervention and gave me a practice single and essentially a taper going into my Wednesday session, my SBD session. So we took a 727-pound single for my top set. I unfortunately didn't record the top set. I did record the back off set though, which was a single as well. 683 pounds, 310 kilos on the bar. Here it is. It moved pretty comfortable. I will say it did feel heavy on the back, but in terms of being in the hole, it felt really, really good. After that, I just had a few sets with 584 pounds, and I'm kind of here just repping it out. These were actually the heaviest / hardest sets of the week. This first secondary squat day was just the worst. But with that little bit of a pullback, I was able to really, really, really dial in that primary session on Wednesday. Last little bit here on Monday is a 424-pound bench press for a 4x4. Like that 4x4 Wendy's piece, bro. I just been eating this up for the last 2 blocks. My day one bench has just been 4x4s, and they've really been giving me a nice kickstart to the week. So, obviously, pretty easy. They moved. It's 425 pounds. It should be moving easy for what you're gonna see later in the week. I'm gonna get to that. It's crazy. I just did it before, about 2 hours ago. Let's get to the meat and potatoes. That is the SBD session. 804 pounds on the squat. But before I get there, let's show you the last warm-up. The last warm-up was 750 pounds or 340.5 kilos. I'm doing the 0.5 because I did put the Oligos on, and those weigh a pound. So, 750 pounds on the dot. Nice and easy here. Pretty good control, pretty good confidence going in. The whip started getting whippy. So, I made sure that I was controlling that and getting ready for that top set. So, that top set was 365 kilos or 804 pounds, but I could say 365.5 because of the Oligos. So, 805. I'm like that, I know. Anyway, amazing single here, very confident. The walkout, really what it's been for these 800-pound squats is just unracking, letting that whip settle into your back or my back, and then walking out. I've had a lot of shaky, heavy squats just because I unrack and then I walk out immediately following. And it's just not a good feeling on the joints, on the lower body in general. The hips get cranky. So letting it settle and then walking out has been an absolute game changer. So if you're watching this and you deal with issues on bar whip, like you just can't seem to display control, just control in the beginning portion, right? Just unrack, let it whip on your back, let it try to, sink you down and make you feel bad about it being heavy. But anyway, that was pretty good. I was happy about that. Next clip here is an 800-pound deadlift. Sorry, 801-pound deadlift because 363.5 kilos with the Olicos on. I put chips on because I did not want to be pulling 799. That's just such a bad thing for me. Anyway, okay, getting to it. This is my heaviest pull in training ever. Last prep before nationals, I failed this twice. Barely even broke ground. So this is a really, really good sign. Again, what happens in training, what happens on the platform are two different things, and I don't want to get this false sense of what I do in training is just going to equal this, crazy expectation. But I will say we're in a really nice trend going into the meet. Very happy about it. Again, I'm just looking to really clean up these lifts that I hit this week. Next block, not really push the cap anymore. I just want to make things super, super clean and lock them in for sure. The same session, I was supposed to, on Tuesday, do my 45 triple then, but I did it on this SBD session. And here it is. I smoked it. Bada bang, bada boom. Easy, easy, easy. Nothing to really kind of go over there. But my next big thing is my 507-pound bench press primer, and that's right here. Amazing primer, just easy. Felt great in the hands. I went from 441 to that set. I actually went from 265 in the bench press to 440 pounds. So 120 kilos to then I did 200 kilos, which is really funny. Big 80 kilo jump. Moving on. This is now the fun session. So fun session, I'm going to show you a little 550-pound last warm-up. This is supposed to be my top set, also an all-time PR. Smoked it, super happy about that, super stoked. And here comes the big gun PR. The big gun PR of 573 pounds or 260 kilos. Just displayed amazing control. The pause was great. Everything was honest, and there was no sort of struggle, really. It felt very, very smooth, and I'm really happy about that. The one thing I do want to kind of replicate for next block is just a little bit of a longer hold, like implementing that, waiting for the start command. But other than that, it freaking flew. I am so happy. The biggest thing is really just emulating that comp pause, and I did that there 100%. Very, very happy with that all-time PR. That is crazy. I am almost benching 600 pounds as a 105 kilo lifter, and I'm sitting a little bit under the class, I'd say. Last thing to go over here of the week is kind of boring, but a 600-pound conventional triple, just to kind of bring everything together, hit it home, and almost kind of taper myself off. I was doing fives, but this week, obviously, as like an overreach sort of a week. Usually my blocks are 4 weeks. This is 5. We kind of want to taper it down at the end of the week just so I'm not really dead, and I'm going into that next training block strong, feeling fresh, feeling as strong as possible. Thank you for tuning into this video. So sum it up, it was basically a 2179 total, which is 989 kilos. Crazy, 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 because going into the last meet, I think I totaled like a 2130 or something like that, or 2140 in prep, and I had a pretty decent taper. This time around, obviously though, we're setting this bar much higher. Next video is I'm gonna kind of like get more videos pumping now. You'll see this obviously as World's time is approaching. Sorry for gatekeeping, but this is really fun for me. I love to kind of keep suspense. Last little point, I'm coming for everything this meet. I just you know, this might bite me in the butt, but I want to put this out there. I have worked extremely hard to build where I'm at right now. A lot of things in my life just really, really eating away. A lot of family things going on, personal things going on. It happens to everybody, but you know, when you're feeling like everything is just not there, you have to just keep fighting to see the other side. And I'm so glad that I'm fighting to see the other side. It's been really, really dark and gloomy for a long time. But it's been really, really good and really rewarding. And I'm really lucky to be sitting on this other side of the camera showing you guys my journey. With that being said, before I get a little emotional here, like, comment, subscribe. Make sure you hit the notification button so that you see the updates going into Worlds, because this is all going to post right before Worlds. It's going to build that suspense a little bit more. Thank you for tuning in, everybody. Thank you for just, you know, showing at least a little bit, showing us any sort of support for my journey, any sort of interest in my journey. This is, I really feel that I'm in a very, very nice and blessed spot to show people me, to show people just who I am and what I do in this sport, and hopefully to inspire people. That's really my goal. I'm not like somebody that needs to have 200,000 followers, but what I do want to do is impact at least a person or two for the better. So yeah, peace out, everyone. Stay tuned for the next video. It's coming out sooner than you think. Let's do this thing. World's 2025, man. This is going to be